To this part of my ongoing and lengthy series of, I wouldn't really call them tutorials, more video guides to making models in Gmax for trains. And it's this B&LR narrow gauge locomotive saddle tank here. You can see the basics of it beginning to appear. And in this session what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the side of the cab there, the water tank. No, just the bunkers. There's a bunker in there, isn't it, for coal, that go either side of the boiler here. And just while I'm at it, what I'll do is I'll select the boiler, which is just an ordinary cylinder, and here are my materials. I'm just going to give it a colour because I just want to, I'm annoyed by that, constantly seeing that colour, so I'm just going to give it a fairly dark colour. Doesn't really matter at this stage, it's just something to get it out the visual, knocking your eye out as it opens up. There we are. That's not how it's going to end up, but it's going to be something dark like that because the livery appears to be just on these parts. So first of all, what I want to do is, I'll leave that there, is I'll hide everything except for the side view, make sure I've got, yes, texture correction on, and I go into the side view here, make sure I can see it and that texture correction is on. And what I'm going to do now is, this is the side of the bunker, so it's a rectangle, pretty straightforward, very little to do. I'm just going to make a box. Why complicate things? And I'm not sure the depth, but there we are, that's how I'll go with that. And what I need to do actually is, if I can see much of a depth, let's unhide by name, and I want the planes, there they are. Those are my other, there we are, look, you can see one there and the rear facing one there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this as that the bunker width is between the edge of the cab. Let's go up here so you can see it more clearly. That bunker width is going to be from the side of the cab there, obviously, to the side of the boiler. So let's take that over just in the X direction. There we are. Let's go to the side of the boiler, and it's a little bit too wide, so let's have a look here. 3'3", let's go 3'2", I think that's right. Or is it the 1.5? No, it's the height, so it's this one here. So let's take it down 1.5. I think it's actually 1 foot 4 inches. There we are. Make it 1 foot 4 inches, and now the height 3'2". Now we had it correct before, and I changed it to 3'3". Let's check with the side view. That's the one I'm going to work from. Yeah, I think it's okay. I think the length is okay, but let's make it 6 feet. I don't like 5'11" in a little bit. There we are. And so we've got our side bunker, which is pretty straightforward, nothing much to it there. Let's immediately give it a lining, some lining out, and it's this one here that we want. So let's go up to, first of all, we don't want it all this colour, but we don't need the bottom because that's going to be hidden by the running plate there. We don't need the top because it's going to be hidden by this, but the other side we may see. So I'm going to change, you'll see how I do that in a minute. But what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to make everything, I'll just choose a blank piece of my texture, as large as I can make it. Let's just move that up there. Okay, so that's going to cover the front and back, and now I'm going to select a face, and let's planar it, and now I'm going to reduce it down, and that's okay on 0, but I'm going to bring it, what do I need to do? I need to bring it in, oops, not that one, I need these two, and bring it in, and bring this one in here. There we are, and that's pretty much it. Except what I'm also going to do is I'm going to prune it out a bit. So I'm going to collapse it all down to an editable poly, and I'm going to edit and clone it. Okay, see why in a moment. Wrong way. I want it to go that way. Right. Now, on the one that I want as my original, I'm going to delete some faces, delete some polys. I'm going to take the top off because that's going to be covered. I'm going to take the back off, you'll see why in a moment. And I'm going to take this one off. And let's just make sure it's centered and aligned. This one as well, center and aligned. And this one I'm going to give it the frames texture as well. I just want to pick up one face here, that's the back face, planar it, and I'm going to make it black. Okay, and I'm going to collapse all, select the back poly, just to make sure we go into wireframe, make sure no, you see them, there it is there. And now I'm going to, in my, edit, select invert. So I've selected everything except that one now and deleted them, and then I'm going to take this one, let's go back into smooth and highlights, take this one, center it there, move it over. So now I've got a bunker with no top, no bottom, front and back are okay, and the back, or the front and rear are okay, and the back is black. It's a separate mesh and a separate texture, and I'm going to group those, and I'm going to give them, center them up, and then I'm going to clone them, and I'm going to position, make sure I got my, yeah, I'm going to clone them, and I'm going to move them to minus to the other side, and I want to rotate them 180 degrees. I should have set the angle increments to 5 degrees, but there we are, 180 degrees. I'm going to ungroup them, and I'm going to make sure I'm centered up here. There we are. And now this one of course is incorrect because it's back to front, it's been turned round. So all I'm going to do there is I'm going to select the face, that face, make sure I see it here, and I'm going to flip it. There we are. Okay, so that should give us our two bunkers there, and the next thing I'm going to do is put lids on them, which again is just going to be a simple box. Let's do this in top-down view just for it to be different. And there they are. And I'm going to make a box. Just enough. There we are. And 6'1". I think that's about right. 1'6". So it's only going to be about ½ an inch. And 4 inches thick. Well, we'll see about that when we come to here. So let's make sure we got that centered, and let's center it on this bunker, X, Y, Z. Okay, let's move it up. No, come on, what's the up? Y. Okay, why not? Okay, so you can see that it's needs to be a little bit longer here because we've got a handrail coming down there, so we'll extend it to 6'3". Let's see if that's going to be enough. Don't think so. I think it's going to take a little more than that. Just trying to judge the top position here. Actually here. No, let's go 6'4". And let's take the thickness down to 2 inches, which is probably too little. Let's just move it vertically to try it out. Yeah, it needs to be 3 inches. Sounds more like it. This is the top of the bunker. Checking wireframe. How much? Just about there. I'm prepared to go a little bit further. I'm not going to start mucking about with fractions of an inch at this stage. What I will do is, I think by the pixel there, that I can take this up a little to there. Still not sure about that position there. Anyway, there we are. And we're looking down the locomotive there. So back over here. Yeah, it's a little long on the overhang there. And to be honest, I don't like the way it's squared off like that. I think this needs to be much more of a chamfered corner, curved corner. So let's have a look. We've got a box which is 6'4", 1'6". So let's go into our rectangle. Make a rectangle and let's make it 6'4" and 1'6". Just to make sure that's what we've got over here. 6'4", 1'6". Yeah, there we are. And now let's look down on that. And what I want to do is I want to ease those corners. Don't like them. So I'm going to give them a radius of about 2 inches, I think we'll do it. Yep. And then we're gonna, what's the size of this one again? It's a thickness of 3 inches. Not all that keen. So let's extrude this. Let's extrude it. It's going to be extruded 2.5 inches. And center. Okay, I'm going to delete that. Don't like that. I don't believe there's many sharp corners like that on the locomotive. Take that up. Let's have a look at that. So we come over to here. Lift that. Yeah, it does look better. It's going to be more polys, but I think it's going to look better. And I don't like the overhang there. It's too much. So let's take that back. It's a little long, yeah. I'm trying to remember if I can actually edit this at this stage, or whether it's going to blow its brains. I think we're okay. And the extrusion is still holding, so that's good. Let's have a look here. So it's this is the front edge, even though it's lower. Collection. Basically I want to make that so that angle there, if you're pointing at 45 degrees, it'll point through the middle of that circle. And that gives us enough there, I think. Ironically, it then proves to be too short. Let's have a look. It does look better. I think that is too short. Shouldn't have changed it. So there's a degree of this assessment that you have to make on the fly when you're using only limited information, because we've obviously only got these rather coarse diagrams. But thank goodness we got them. I mean, if we didn't have them, we wouldn't be able to recreate these lovely locos. So there we are, that's our side bunker, and I'm going to give that, use my ordinary frames to reduce that. Actually, I'm going to collapse it all down to a poly first, make sure it's okay. So, and the first basic shape that tint that I want to give it, it's a fairly awful grey. Down there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a bit lighter, so I'm going to planar that and use my lighter grey there. I tend to be hanging around this corner of this, and there we are. I think that should do it. And there's not much I can, well, in fact there's nothing I can delete there now on this in the way of saving polys. What I can do, make sure it's centered up, clone it, that's the wrong one to frame it, to move it to, that's the one, X, Y, no, not Y, move that. Okay, so there we are. So we've got our two side bunkers, so let's bring up everything else, have a look. Yeah, it's beginning to come together. Okay, let's save. And save as to a spare copy. Version 2, number 2. Yes, please, save that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the upper cab side here, so let's have a look there, come right back, and it's this shape here I want, and I'm going to do that, and remember that's got a window there as well, so and it looks like it's got some, is that a window or is it beading? I can't remember from seeing the, or is it part of the, I did it as part of the texture, so maybe, yes, it is part of the texture. It's certainly not. It's certainly not a side window there. No. Oh, dearie me. So there we are. So we do this. We'll make it nice and red, yellow. Make it sharp. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to convert that to an editable spline, and I want to alter the vertices. These two here are going to make this curve. No, they're not. There's got to be, I've got to refine this. I've got to add some additional. I've got to put one there, one there. You'll see why I put an extra one in a minute. Because this second one here is actually going to go over here. I'm going to go into wireframe, and height is 89862. 89862, and I'm going to make that horizontal. I'm going to make that horizontal, that snap, you've seen that snap, and then let's have a look again. Okay, let's zoom in, and yeah, I'm going to use this to curve this line over a bit. The most important one is this one here. Just pull it round until we get that curve, and we just need to keep adjusting these, giving them plenty of movement going until you get that curve. I'm not that brilliantly pleased about that, but not much more I can do about that, I don't think. What I can do is I can have a go at refining a bit more. Put another one in there and just pull that over a little. do is I'll try to make this more of a transitional rather than such an abrupt change. Unusual shape. Pull that up and down a little bit. There's the Broadgate Society emailing me. Pull that there. And what we'll do is just see what it looks like when I get the texture on it. So here we are. So let's make that, let's extrude that, and we'll extrude it, that was 2.5 inches, extrude that a couple of inches. And then I want to add my material to it straight away because I want to see how it's going to go. Right, I don't like that. So by resetting it, I'm going to lose it as a editable segment. It's going to have to become a poly. Now we'll try again. And you see that the face is now horizontal. These lines are now horizontal and vertical. They were skewed at an angle before then. Right, so we select that face. Let's edit. Let's look at just the face that we're editing. Planar map. So I'm going to try, and that's the one we're aiming for. So I'm going to bring this down a bit. I'm going to compress it this way, left to right. Stay up there. Getting there. Zoom in a bit. You want to keep this pretty much in proportion, so don't be tempted to move individual segments. I'm not impressed with that really. Well, we'll take it with that at the moment, because if we move this now over to, there it is, and we're going to move it over to the wrong direction, over to the side, should be on the side of the, there's the bunker. Let's come over a bit. Let's have a look on the front. Yeah, that's the bit I'm going to make next. But there we are, we're not too far, but I don't like that curve. But we're well on our way with that one. So I've just got to do the other faces on it. We've got texture correction on it. It's not going to get any better. That should be parallel. It's plainly not. Let's just see if I can do anything on that. I suspect if I start doing that, it's going to throw out this. So I'm going to break all my rules. Oh yes, it's having a field day with this. Pulling it across. It's not too. Just going to pull that back a little bit. Well, I'm doing it here, I'm watching it here. And now I'm going to pick up these, but not this one. I'll use the Alt button for that, just move those in a bit. Hours of innocent enjoyment now. I think I'm going to go with that. That's about as good as I'm going to be able to get it, I think. Just not mucking about. I'm sure there's better ways of doing it. Better people more skillful than me who can do that. But I'm just leaving it there because this here will give me my, as you can see, it's actually going to be further out, isn't it? It's going to be right on the edge, I think. It's going to be right over here. Just the lip of that showing. So there we are, beginning to get there. Beginning to look like a locomotive. We're not too far off. Actually getting a cab roof and a cab back and front and all the rest of it, and then we'll make the front bogie and start detailing it with all the pipe work and the dome, colouring the dome and the various other bits and pieces there. So that's it for this session, and please look out for the next session when it comes along, and please subscribe to my channel on YouTube. It's perfectly free, there is no obligation, there is no commitment, and I don't know who you are, so I don't send you emails or anything like that. And if you do like it, please do leave a comment or ask a question, give it a thumbs up, and as I say, look out for the next one.